I've used Blender. I did like the beginner's donut series for Blender.
Okay, that's nice. And Bhavit and Kanish, can you also unmute?
I
Yes, sir.
also use Blender.
I have used Cinema 4D, Blender, and I have made many projects and sold them on CG Trader.
Oh,
That is great.
that's very nice actually. You all can like share your work or experience, whatever you have made on the chat. So like you can share with others.
Yeah, the chat is
Sure.
not available to us.
You can then share
Oh,
it in the Discord channel only.
okay. You can like on the Discord's 3D section, you can like keep sharing your artwork and like what you have done in past before. So I guess okay, we will start with today's session. So good morning, good evening, everyone. We are the member of Tech Syndicate. I'm Simadri Mohit from 12th A, and today we have with us is Amog Agarwal from 11th A. For all who are aware or not aware, we are doing 3D. This is a 3D session. We will be basically teaching you the basic run through of how to use Blender, and at the end we will also teach you about Fusion, how to use Fusion 360. So this is the day by day plan. So like we have total number of 5 sessions we will be doing till 6th May, and we will be giving you a task after each week. So there will be a task of this weekend and the next weekend. So and yeah, you can like go through, or we will also share this screenshot with you on the Discord, so you can like keep tabs of what we have done and what we will be doing in the future. And like yeah, that's basically it. So Amogya, you can take over.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, I will be here with you on the chat. So if there are any doubts, you can unmute or you can type on the chat. I will respond.
Is my screen visible to everyone?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Alright.
Yeah.
So whenever you open a Blender, this will be a default screen that you're greeted with. These are the settings that ask if you have opened Blender for the first time. You can leave all these as default and just click next. This would be the splash screen, just an artwork and some options here. Right now, you can click on General and start your workspace. I'll switch my window now. So this is called a 3D viewport. And whenever you see it, this would be like a house with different rooms. For example, this one area would be a room, this would be a room, this entire window would be a room. We'll start one by one. So has everyone opened up Blender?
Yep.
Right.
Yes.
So in the
Yes.
default,
Yes.
sorry, right. Moving on. In the default scene, you would have a cube. This is a light, a point light to be precise, and this is the camera. So in a 3D workspace, you then generally have three axes. The red line is the x-axis. You can also check it over here. The red one is the x-axis. The y is the green axis, and the z1 is a blue. The blue line is the z-axis. To select anything, you can just press on it by using your left mouse, and then it would have a yellow line around it, which means that it's selected. Or you can also drag with pressing your left mouse and dragging it to select everything. Or what you can do is select it from the outliner over here. This is called the outliner. So if I press on the cube, my cube would be selected. And as you can see, there's an orange line indicating that it is selected. Now, these are called my properties. For example, there are like 10 options here. To delete anything in a scene, what you can do is simply press X and it would ask you delete. You can just press X and then click on the delete option to delete anything. Or what you can do is select it and then press delete on your keyboard. So if I press delete on my keyboard, it deletes everything. Is this much clear?
Yes, Priya.
Yes.
Yes, Priya.
Yes, Bhaiya.
Alright.
Yes.
Now that we have deleted our scene, we can move on and अब कुछ add कर सकते हैं इसमें. So add करने के लिए what we can do is go to add and then mesh. So any object is called a mesh in Blender. Then you can go add a cube perhaps. So we have a cube now. You can also do this by pressing Shift plus A on your keyboard. So Shift plus A is for adding any object, and then I can again go and add a plane. So you can see I have a plane now. I don't need this plane, so I'll just delete it. I have my cube selected. Then we have some options over here, like the move, the rotate, the scale. So we'll come to each of these one by one. The move. You can basically move your object from one point to another. So if I choose the red line, it's the red x-axis. So moving along the red line like this. Now I want to move it along the y-axis. So now you can also press G on your keyboard by pressing G and you can move it. You can press G. I can move it over there. And to align it to one axis, I can do G and then X on my keyboard for the x-axis, Y for the y-axis, and Z for the z-axis. The rotate tool, you can also choose your tools from here. So now I want to rotate this. So for the x-axis, I can select this red line over here and can rotate it. If I want to rotate it on a particular angle, for example, 90 degrees on the z-axis, what I can do is select this, and at the top I'll see an option with it where it says over here where it will say that will show the angle at what I am rotating. For example, right now it's minus 54 degrees. So what I can do is use the shortcut key R for rotate. R is for rotate. Remember that. I can press R, the Z, and 90 degrees on my numpad. Is the move and the rotate tool clear?
Yes, Priya. Yeah, actually, I didn't get how to move it on the x-axis and the y-axis.
So to move any object, you can press G on your keyboard.
Okay.
And for the x-axis, just press the X key.
Okay. Got it.
Now we have this.
Yeah, got it. Thanks.
Now we have the scale. So basically to resize any object, we use the scale command. And for example, I can again use this click on the square and drag my mouse away from the laptop to scale it on the x-axis. It's the same
What's
for
the
all the
command for
axes.
this?
Yes, the command for this is S on your keyboard. S to scale.
Okay.
So S and then Y perhaps to scale it on the y-axis. What you see over here are the gizmos, and if you click on the x-axis, it snaps you to the x-axis like this. You can also move around this by selecting one of them and moving your mouse to span around your 3D viewport. To zoom in and zoom out, you can just use a mouse scroll wheel on your mouse. This one. To zoom in and zoom out. you want to view your tree viewport, what you can do is press Shift and the middle mouse button. You need to press this middle mouse button along with Shift. So if I do click both of these, I can move around my 3D viewport. For example, I want to view the angles of this cube. Like I want to view it from behind. What I can do is just press on the middle mouse button and move around. So like this. Is a movement
How
clear?
again?
To move, just press the middle mouse button. This one. This one.
Okay.
I can press this and move around. You also have this option zoom in and zoom out. Just press this and move your mouse away or towards your screen to zoom in and zoom out. Is this clear?
Yes, Priya.
Yes, bhaiya.
Now this is the 3D viewport, which has various options. So over top we have wireframe view. Basically, if I click this, I can see the vertices and the edges, like what my mesh is made of. Then we have the solid viewport. This is the default one, what you generally start with. Next up, we have the shading viewport. Basically, if you have any colors and you want to preview it before rendering your final image, you can preview it here. And the last one is a rendered view. It shows how your render would look finally after being rendered with all the lights and everything. So this is the object mode. Now we'll move on to the edit mode. To switch to edit mode basically has more features than edit object mode to create a bit of more detailed structure. So just click on the object mode at the top and switch to edit mode. Is everyone able to do this?
Yes, Priya.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And to switch to edit mode, there's a shortcut key for that, which is tab. You can press tab on your keyboard. So if I press tab, I can switch back to object mode and edit mode by pressing tab. Alternatively, what you can do is press Control Tab and you'll see some options here. So moving around your mouse, you can choose object mode, edit mode, and all these other options. So I'll choose edit mode for now. The shortcut for that was Control Tab. So edit mode basically shows you how many the vertices, the faces, and the edges. The dots here would be the vertices, and the lines would be edges. This entire is a face. So to choose between them, what you can do is select from here. This one is the vertex select mode. This is to select edges, and this is to select faces. To switch between them, what you can do is just press 1, 2, and 3 on your keyboard. So 1 is for vertex mode. If I press 2, I switch into edge mode. Now by pressing 3, I go into face selection. I can select faces now. The shortcuts that were in object mode are also work here. So for example, if I press G here and Z, I can move it along the Z axis. Now we have the same options that we covered in object mode and some new options like extrude. So if I click extrude, what I can do is I extrude and make a new portion of the mesh. So something like this. I can also do what I can do is select my face and press E on your keyboard. E is for extrude and it extrudes. Is all this clear?
Others also, please keep responding if you have any doubts or if you are clear about everything is clear.
I had a doubt. I didn't get actually how to increase the area of the cube.
Okay, so I'll go back to object mode to explain that. Just delete this.
Okay.
I can do shift to press and add a cube. So to increase the area, what you can do is select the scale option here, the scale option, and then you can just scale it. So I can choose it and drag it to scale. You can also press S as I said to scale. So if I press S, it scales on all the axes. So by pressing S, it is scaling on the X axis, the Y axis, and the Z axis all at
Okay.
once. S and
Got it.
Z do just on the X axis. Like, one more thing, if you have done any unnecessary step and want to undo, the shortcut key is same as other applications. It's Control C. Control C to undo it. Going back to edit mode now, we have covered extrude. So coming back to insert, I select this face and I insert this. To insert, like, one second. If I selected this, I need to drag it inwards to insert. Creates an insert like this, or I can also press I on my keyboard, I for insert, and just insert this.
Excuse me, Bhaiya.
Yes.
What was
Could
this
you
for?
could you repeat from the starting in this edit mode what you did? I couldn't. I'm having network errors.
All right, I'll repeat it. Prabnur, can you repeat your sentence?
What you just did, I also wanted that to be
Okay,
repeated.
I'll repeat the edit mode for everyone. To go into edit mode, you can select from here and choose edit mode, or you can also press tab on your keyboard. So by pressing tab, can switch between object mode and edit mode. I press tab. Now the commands are same as the object mode, the shortcuts for scale, move, and rotate. Now we come to extrude. So okay, first in edit mode, you basically have to choose what you want to select. I can choose the vertex, a face, a edge, and a face. And I can also press 1 on my keyboard to select the vertex selection, 2 for edge selection, and 3 for face selection. You know, if I select this face, I can then extrude it. So if you click this one second, the extrude region, what I can do is click on this and drag my mouse away. So basically extrude it. And the shortcut key for this is E. So if I select this face, press E, I can extrude this. Arav, is the extrude clear? So the insert faces. The insert face, like if you want to create an insert in any object, I think that's clear. So for example, what I can do is select this. If I hover my mouse, you'll see the color change to white and I know it is selected. So I can just do this and drag my mouse inwards to create an insert.
What is this used for?
And for example, now you want to create an extrusion inwards of a like a little area, not the complete object. So for example, now I can choose extrude and just extrude it inwards.
Okay.
So I got some object. So now we have the bevel. The bevel tool, if anyone has ever done 2D, you know the bevel. It is used to round off sharp corners. It's the same in 3D. For example, in nature, nothing is completely sharp. It is always a bit rounded off. So I can go and select my edge, press 2 on my keyboard to select edge, and just select this one. I can again choose the gizmo present and just move it. Now I can choose. So it basically bevels my object. What I can do is while beveling, I can also use my scroll wheel to increase the number of segments.
Uh, Excuse me, can you please repeat after what you said, excluding?
Can you repeat, Shaurya?
Actually, can you please repeat whatever you said after excluding? I didn't understand.
Okay,
Do you mean
Amog,
extrude?
can you repeat it from the like insert part where you
Yeah.
So the inset one, if you want to create like a inset in your object, so I can just choose the inset tool and just drag this. So drag this inwards to insert this, or you can always press I on the keyboard. So I to insert. Then we have the bevel tool. So just select any edge which you want to bevel. I'll select this one and drag the bevel tool away to bevel it. While beveling,
Yeah,
yes.
I have a doubt. This bevel only works on edges.
I mean, kind of. Wait, I'll show it on any face also. So first I'll show how to add more segments. You can, while beveling, you can just use a scroll wheel and add more segments. The shortcut for the bevel tool is Control B, Control plus B to bevel, and dragging your mouse to increase or decrease the segments. Coming back to RF Scout, I'll go into Face Select and select the face. If I press Control B to bevel, you can notice that it is beveling the edges only, but of the entire face.
So when we just select the edges, only the edge that we selected will be beveled, but when we're doing the face or the entire, all of these edges will be beveled.
Yes. You can also add more objects in edit mode by using the same shortcuts and the options. So go to add and I get these options. I'll again add a cube. I'll move it. So GNX, move it. Is the bevel tool clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I just had one more question.
Yes,
Is
please.
there any shortcut for bevel?
Yes, Control B.
Control D.
Control B. B for Bombay.
Okay. Thank you.
Next up, we have loop cuts. Basically, you want to divide your mesh into two equal halves. That is loop cut. So if I hover over my object, I can see this yellow line. This is basically where the loop cut would be added. So it's there. If I press on it, a loop cut would be added. The shortcut for this is Control plus R, Control and R to add a loop cut.
Yeah,
Basically,
what does a loop cut do?
yes, so basically, if you want to divide your object into equal parts or maybe create divisions. For example, I added these two loop cuts. Now what I can do is simply go into face select and maybe I just extrude this. So I can what I can do is extrude this one, or maybe I want to add an insert here. So just select insert, insert this. Instead of having multiple objects, you can do multiple things only on one object only. Is the loop cut clear?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, I didn't understand that. After placing the loop cut in between an object, how do we differentiate that object from the cube?
So what are you asking? Basically, after adding a loop cut,
Yeah, yeah.
can you repeat your questions?
Actually, my question was, I got it how to insert it. I had inserted the loop cut in between the cube, but I didn't understand how to like differentiate when you said to extrude it from the cube. I didn't get that.
Okay, so for example, you have added a loop cut. Now what you can do is go into face select mode by pressing 3 or choosing here. Now, basically, I want to extrude this one. I select this, it becomes yellowish or it's selected. Now you can just do extrude. So I'll press E right now to extrude it.
Oh yeah, I got it. I got it how to take it out. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. Is there any doubt till here, sir? What all Amog has taught you, like insert, extrude, loop cuts? Any doubts you can please ask right now.
No, all is clear. Yeah, thanks.
Like, how did you? In which mode did you go to, like, make the loop cuts invisible? Like, since it appears as one piece.
I added the loop cuts in the edit mode, which I showed how to change. So at the top, you can see
Okay.
object mode. So just go into edit mode and you will now see the loop cuts.
Okay.
So everyone, any doubts?
No doubt.
Okay, fine.
So I'll just explain the properties now. I'll just delete everything and take a new cube. So whenever you want to add an object, it is added at a 3D cursor. If you see, one second, you see this object, this ring. This is called a 3D cursor, and wherever the 3D cursor is present, your object is added over there. So my 3D cursor is over at the center right now. When I add a plane, it is added at the center where the 3D cursor is present. To move your 3D cursor, what you can do is press Shift and right click. So Shift and right click, and I can move it over here. Then now if you add any object in your cube, it will be added over here. So is the 3D cursor clear?
Yes, bhai.
Yes, Bhaiya. Bhaiya, if we have to like reset the 3D cursor, then what will you have to do?
That's a good question. To reset it, what you can do is press Shift plus S. Shift plus S on the keyboard. So you get these options. Now, if you want to reset it to the center, what you can do is press this one, cursor to word origin, and it comes back to the center.
Okay, Bhaiya. Thank you.
Now that you have an object selected, these are the properties, the object properties. I can see what I've done over here. Basically, if I move it on the Z axis by 2, I'll press 2 here. So, you see 2. To change the properties, I can also drag. If I hover over this and then drag the mouse, I can change the properties. It's the same for everything, basically. So now you get the same options by pressing N also. So N on your keyboard. This is called the N panel, and you can get the same options over here. I can just change the scale on the x-axis by dragging. Maybe rotate it. So is this clear? The object properties and the N panel.
Oh, yes, Bhaiya. Yeah.
Now we have modifiers. basically you have more than anything. I'll take this cube for now. Modifiers is basically a way to add more detail. So you can go to add modifier, and these are all the options. We'll go over them one by one. I'll start with the bevel. So the bevel is the same as the edit mode. It's just a modifier, so it can be changed anytime. For example, if you bevel anything edit mode, you can't change it unless you press Ctrl C. But if you add a bevel in the modifiers tab, you can change it anytime. For example, I can just change the amount, and you can see that the bevel amount changes. I can add segments here. And if I'm happy with my modifiers, what I can do is click on the arrow and apply. We'll take the next modifier. The next one is array modifier. Array modifier basically creates duplicates of the same object in a constant line. For example, if I add an modifier, we now have two cubes. The number of cubes or the number of objects is given by the count over here. Right now it's 2. So if I drag it to 4, I have 4 cubes now. And what is distance between each cube is given by the factor. So on the x-axis, if I increase, I now have more gap between the cubes. I can maybe increase the gap in the z-axis also, like this. Is this clear?
Yes, Bhaiya.
So you can apply this modifier pressing Ctrl A by using this apply option, or you can press Ctrl A. So if I hover over this modifier and press Ctrl A, I can apply this modifier. The last modifier I will cover for today is subdivision surface. For example, if you have any jagged edges or maybe a low poly mesh, a low poly mesh is basically if you have less vertices, it takes less space, basically less geometry to be precise. What I can do is add a subdivision surface to smooth it out. Just give it a second, it's loading it. Okay, so the subdivision has been added. Now, if you want, you can see the difference. It improves the smoothness of the mesh. So I can increase the level of the subdivision. I have levels here. So if I increase it, I can increase the smoothness. Basically, you have two options, the levels viewport and the render. The numbers set over here is basically what you will see in the viewport, and we recommend to keep it at the low settings. Otherwise, your Blender might crash. And for render, you can bump it up to any number you want. Maybe if I get 3, the render settings won't have any effect in the viewport. To see the effect of the 3 subdivision surface, I would have to change it in the viewport also. So now if I do 3, I can see it has taken place. Additionally, to disable any modifier, what you can do is press on the computer icon. The computer icon will disable it in viewport. For example, if I click on this, now the modifier is not doing its work. It's disabled. Now I can just add it back. To disable it in render, what you can do is press on the camera icon to disable it in the render preview. To delete any modifier, you can press on the cross and delete this. Is the modifiers clear?
But actually, I didn't get how to open the modifier from the preferences.
Right. So for example, if you're on the object properties,
Yeah.
what you can do is just simply click on this. So if I click on the modifiers just screw button, the wrench icon.
Okay. One second.
And just add modify.
Okay, got it. Got it.
Any more doubts?
No, thanks.
So additionally, what I can do to smooth my mesh is I can right click and shade smooth. So now the jaggedness is gone. Is everything clear?
Yes. Bhaiya.
Yes.
So now this is a timeline. This is so if you're doing any animations in Blender, this is the place where you will be animating. We'll come back to this in the second week. Right now we'll be making a soap dispenser. I'll just show what we'll be making in a new Blender file. So if you want a new file, what you can do is file, new and generate. So to get a new file, I'll just show what we'll be making. Give me a second. We'll be trying to make something like this in Blender.
The background as well.
Today we'll just focus on the object. We'll see about the background in the
Okay.
later classes. So just try to follow along with me. I'll go slowly. Has everyone opened the new default scene? Alyssa?
Everyone, please respond if you are ready.
Yeah, open new file.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
open the new file.
Yes, Bhaiya.
Thank you.
Alright. So first of all, what I'll do is move it upwards by 1. The default scale of the cube is 2 meters for it, 2 units. So I'll just move it around 1 unit so that it snaps to the 3D cursor. It's on the same level. What I can do is G and Z and 1. Now you can see it's on the same line. So to work, what I'll do is go into the y-axis. If I press on this -y, my viewport will snap to the -y. And this is my scene. So to achieve that shape, first we'll be extruding this on the z-axis or moving it like this. Just go into edit mode and face selection. Press 3 on your keyboard. Select the top face and go into -y snap view again. So now I'll move it.
What?
All
Can you
this has
repeat
to be,
that?
I'll repeat it. Just go into edit mode and go into face select option. Choose the top face and now what you can do is just move it. So I'll move it. I'll press G, Z, and perhaps move it. So you can see the number at the top in the top left corner. Right now it's 1.96 meters along global Z. I can just press 2. So 2 meters along global Z axis.
Bhaiya, we have to extrude this, right?
Now you can move it. Extrude.
Okay. Okay.
You would achieve a rectangle type of shape. Now I'll just move the edges by adding a bevel modifier. Bevel. Now I'll just decrease the amount by dragging it. So make sure to always increase the segments to something like 6 or 7. And right click and shade auto smooth. Has everyone done this? Then I'll move ahead.
Oh, yes, Bhaiya, done till here.
Bhaiya, can you repeat what you did?
Have you moved it? Which steps will I repeat? The bevel one.
before the bevel.
All right. Just press Control Z. So just go into edit mode and face select. Press the top face and move it. So for moving, I press G and only Z axis. So Z. And I want to move it 2 meters upwards. So that would be I press 2 on my keyboard to fix the measurement basically. So by pressing 2, I move it. You can also change the amount, how much you move it, or any action by pressing on the arrow over here. By after performing any action, you if you press on this, you get the option. So I can just choose, for example, 10 here. I'll just go back to right now. Then add the bevel modifier. I will add 6 segments over here. You can also edit the value by left clicking to get the fill box and maybe some value. Decrease it and press shade auto smooth to shade smooth.
Bhaiya,
Yes.
I'm not getting shade auto smooth in my
I think
options.
you must be using your old Blender version. I'll sort of work around just a second. So what you can do is just go to shade smooth
Yeah,
and then in the triangle shaped object in the properties, the green icon,
yeah, yeah.
go to normals and auto smooth.
Where?
Normals.
Just a second. E- yeah, that's right.
All right. So it's a good way to all it's a good thing to always save your blend file. So to save it, just press Control S and I'll just save it anywhere. Just name it to something and save your blend file. Control S is the shortcut key. After saving, I'll
Please,
go ahead.
can like please mute yourself. Kevin,
Yeah. Oh,
please
I'm so
mute
sorry.
yourself. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
thank
I'm
you.
so sorry. Sorry.
So as you can see, the bottom is a bevel a bit more than the other edges. So what I can do is go into edit mode, face select, and select the bottom face to bevel it. So wait a second. If we check the object once again, you can see that the sides are also beveled more than the top one. So this is the lowest bevel, then this is more bevel, and this is even more than the second one. So I'll first bevel the sides and then come to the bottom face. I go into edit mode. I'll go into edge select and select the edges, the four edges. So I'll press this one, it's selected. Now I'll press shift on my keyboard to do multiple selections. Shift and select this. So you can see both of these are selected now. I can move around and select these two. After making sure that all four are selected, what I can do is Control B to bevel. Uh, You can see the number of segments at the bottom left of the screen. Right now I have 6 segments. I'll just add something like 12. Then I'll come back and I'll just bevel the bottom face. So selecting the bottom one by going into face select, selecting the bottom one and Control B.
Vivek, could you explain this once again? I got like a bit problem in the blender, so I had to fix that, so I could not like see this properly.
It's from the beveling one.
Yes, sir. Yeah, from the bubbling part.
Just go into edge select the four edges. You can see the four edges by pressing shift on your keyboard and the left mouse to select the four edges. Now you can just press Ctrl B to bevel it and just bevel it.
Okay, Vivek.
I think this is clear.
Hmm.
So now I'll go back into face select the bottom face and bevel it. While beveling, don't make sure that you don't have any overlapping mesh issues like you can see here. I have beveled it too much, so make sure to decrease it. Now I'll increase the segments here, something like 16, and close the window. Has everyone done this? Is this step clear to everyone?
Everyone, please respond. Have you followed all these steps till here?
I've done to this part, Bhaiya.
Done, Bhaiya.
Shaurya, Kanish, Guru, Naitik, Riddhima, you also can
Uh,
please respond.
yes, but I'm just almost there. I was just doing it again, so.
All right, we'll just wait for 2
Yeah, I'm
minutes.
also fine.
Okay, Amog, you can continue now.
So now I go back to the image again. You can see that the bottom is a bit bigger than the top part. So I'll just scale the top one. Just go back into layout and go into edit mode. I'll go into face select the top one
Yeah,
and scale it. Yes.
yeah, I'm not able to bevel the those sides.
And can you share the screen?
Actually, I'm not the
I'll make you the
presenter.
presenter. Okay,
Okay,
yes,
who is this? Shaurya?
I've made him
Fine.
presenter.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So like go into like the edge select mode. Okay, like move to it.
That's right.
No, this is the vertex one, the second option.
Yes.
This right side of it. Yes. This is the edge select. Now select the four edges, the bigger edges. No, not this one.
Like this.
Yes, this. You can press shift to multi-select.
That's right.
Keep on pressing shift by selecting it like this.
Yeah.
Now once you're selected, you can bevel it by pressing Control B.
It's actually not beveling.
Because you have not selected this edge, Shaurya.
Just a second.
Press shift and left click.
And shift
Left
this.
click. No, okay. You keep holding the shift. You are leaving the now like that. Yep. And the last one, do it once again. Now press Control B.
Control B.
And now you're able to, yeah. And you can use a scroll wheel to like increase or that drop box. Yeah, that's like one issue. Like if you select out of the area, the drop box vanishes. So you have to be careful about that. So you like can do Control Z and do it once again. Yeah, now Control B. Okay, press Control Z again. Yeah, Control D. Okay, do it.
Actually, one of it is not selected, I think.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
and just directly go to the drop box. Okay, that okay. Press Control Z again.
controls it.
Yeah, do it once again. Control Z. Control
Yeah,
D now. Control D.
yeah,
And then don't press anything. Okay, just drag
yeah,
it and leave the button.
yeah.
Don't press anything. Go to the left side or bottom. You can see that bevel written right. That
Left
arrow.
side bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Press. And now you can increase the segments here. How many segments are there, Tamog?
I did it with 16 segments.
You can make it 16 segments.
Yeah.
And you can say the width option. You can increase or decrease the bevel. So you can keep it according how much you like it.
Okay.
Okay. Hmm.
Thank you.
Okay, so now moving ahead,
Okay.
we need
By
to
the way,
scale.
is the chat visible to any of you?
Yes, Bhaiya?
Are you able to see the chat?
No.
Okay, fine.
No, we're
Where
not
it is
able to
say-
see the chat.
where it is only saying it is available to only team members.
It's all right. That's not a problem.
Hmm.
Okay, so now I'll just scale the top part. So by pressing S and scaling it, so I'll again use a number. So for example, I can do 0.7. Okay, maybe it's a bit too much, 0.8 to scale it. Is the scaling part clear?
Bhaiya, what value was it?
The values are dependent, like you can change it. I used 0.8 on all the three axes. So you now have the basics way. I go again to the reference image, but I can see we have some objects here. These look like cylinders to me. So I'll be adding cylinders now. Okay, first of all, I have this object cube, and in complex scenes, it might become very confusing key which object is what. So what I can do is rename this. If I double click on this, double click, I get the option to rename. So I can just rename main object for now. Or you can always press the F2 key, the function F2 key to rename it. What all the objects are visible here. This is the outliner, and basically like a folder for you to keep everything organized. Right. So now I want to add a cylinder at the top. So first, what I need to do is bring my 3D cursor over here. To do that, what I will do is go to edit mode, select the topmost face, and press Shift plus S to bring the cursor menu and choose cursor to select it. Now my 3D cursor is at the top. I'll go into object mode once again and just add the cylinder. So cylinder. Has everyone reached this step?
Yes, Bhaiya.
Actually, didn't get it. How did you like add the cylinder on the top?
Okay, so to add, we use the shortcut key Shift plus A, Shift plus A,
Shift plus
and I'll I go to mesh and choosing cylinder.
Okay, okay, got it. You added it on the top. Yeah, okay, got
Bhaiya,
it.
I'm not able to move the cursor, 3D cursor.
Okay. To move the cursor, what you need to do is go into edit mode of the main object,
Yeah,
select the topmost face and shift
yeah.
S. Shift plus
Shift.
S and S. Then you get this menu.
uh,
Then you can choose cursor to selected. So this one, cursor to selected. You can see that the color
uh,
has changed. That means I have selected it. My mouse is hovering on it right now. I just
yeah.
press this and the cursor is at the top.
Cursor to active.
No, you need to choose cursor to selected.
Oh, okay, done. Thank you.
Now just add a cylinder and I'll scale this by pressing S. So something like this. You can do it randomly. I think it's a bit too small,
We
so
have
I'll
to
just
scale
print.
it on all axes.
Yes, right now you can scale it on all axes. We'll just decrease it on the Z axis later. Once you have scaled it,
Yeah, done.
and now it's a bit too long on the Z axis, so I can just do S and Z to scale it on the Z axis. If you see it carefully, you will see that some of the object is inside the dispenser part. So I'll move it outwards in the Z axis, pressing G and Z and moving it upwards. Like this. Okay, so right now you can see that it's very jagged and I can see all the edges. So I'll first of start by going to the modifiers tab, going into add modifier and adding a bevel modifier. Now you can see that my bevel modifier is looking very flat and it has not been applied properly. So before beveling anything, what I can do is by going to the end panel, I see that there's some scale values. Blender knows that it has been scaled. So what I need to do is reset all these values. To reset, I can do Control plus A on my keyboard and get this option called apply. I can then just choose apply scale. So applying scale. And now the bevel modifier is doing its job properly. Is this part clear?
Can you repeat, please?
So if you look carefully in the end panel, my object has some scale values and I need to reset these. So for resetting these, what I can do is press Control A, apply, and then just go to scale. Choose my scale option. So Control A and then apply scale. Is it clear?
Oh, yes, we
It's clear.
Alright. So now I can just change the bevel value. I'll decrease it 0.011. Alright. And then just increase the segments to 4 for now. Maybe 5. I can also now press shade auto smooth to smooth it out. You can see I still have some jagged edges over here if you see closely. So I'll add a subdivision surface right now to smooth it out. Now you can see a difference before and after. Has everyone followed till this step?
yes, we are. Do we have to edit anything in the subdivision surface or just like that?
You can leave it like this only. So right now it's one level in the viewport and two in the render. So I see what 2 would do, the 2 levels, I can see it doesn't make much difference. And always try to keep the values lower in the viewport. Otherwise, it will take a lot of RAM while processing. Okay. So I hope everyone has done till this step. We just save our blend file and stop for today. We'll be continuing the rest tomorrow. We'll be finishing this and adding a camera and setting it up. Is
Yes,
anyone
Bhaiya.
having doubts?
No, Bhaiya.
All right, so I'll stop sharing and we'll be stopping the session now.
I will be sharing you a cheat sheet, like what all Amog have taught you about, like shortcut keys. I will share you a PDF on the Discord server only, so you can like go through it and like you will actually easy to remember. So you can, it will be beneficial for you guys. And yes, the next session we will completing the model. We will next time focus on lighting, camera, and materials. Because like it modeling 3D is not just creating the models. You have to like add specific textures and colors and lighting. All stuff also matters. So we will
Yeah.
cover all that in the next classes.
Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you, Bhaiya.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll be
Thank you.
stopping the recording and ending the meeting now. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Bhaiya. Bye.